There we are. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to episode 17 of the Ashes of Creation Community Podcast. Before we get started, actually today we actually had planned to have a Jealous and Alluring from the community with us, but sadly Alluring is still sick, and I hope she feels better soon. And a Jealous, the gentleman behind the Dungeon Crawl Network, actually had some PC issues and wasn't able to join us either. But thanks to our awesome community, we found somebody who was happy to jump in, and DA has been on the podcast before, so thanks for joining us, DA.
Thank you. Glad to be here, as always.
And Brown Games is also one of our community members, and it's her first time today, right?
Yeah, hello.
All right, so for those of you who haven't watched this before, this is a podcast where we give our community members a chance to be in the spotlight. It has to do with the game, but the game Ashes of Creation is not up front. It's not the most important thing. It's our community members. And that's why we're going to start with the same topic as always. How long have you been involved with Ashes of Creation? And DA has done this before, so why don't you go first, DA?
I've been involved with the communities for going on, I want to say, like 8-9 months now. Yeah, probably about 8 or 9 months. I'm always active in the Discord, always in voice chat, willing to talk about Ashes of Creation or Theorycraft or whatever it may be. Yeah, but it's an exciting community to be a part of. Everybody there is like really friendly and fun to talk to. We really, if you haven't joined the voice chat, like I highly suggest you do, because we just have some really good times there. We talk about just the most hilarious topics. But yeah.
Brown Games, how long have you been with us?
For about, I would think 14 or 16 months or so, like over a year.
Yeah.
I think I joined back in November last 2 years ago, like in 2016.
All right.
Yeah, and basically I started out on the forums. I got like an ad popping up on Facebook telling me that there was this game. And then I checked it out, showed it to my boyfriend, who most of you probably know. He's one of the moderators on the Discord channel.
Wait, what? Who's your boyfriend?
Frederick.
What? How come? Wait, are you serious? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is opening a whole new bunch of doors.
Wait, what?
I did not know that. I did not know you were Frederick's girlfriend. I know you, and I know Frederick, but I didn't know you two were dating.
No, we've actually been together for like about the same amount of time that the game has been up, I believe, like 1.5 years or so.
Oh. Wow. Well, everybody, it's out now. It's confirmed. Frederick has a girlfriend. All right. Okay, this is fun. Let's jump right to the first real topic, which is a topic that I do not know a lot about. But it's something people have been requesting, so I was like, you know what? We talked about pretty much everything. Why not? So we're gonna talk about in-game marriages, which is confirmed will be a thing. And yeah. So okay, in-game marriages. Okay, here's I like, we know it's confirmed, and I think same-sex marriages and everything in that regard, I think we can assume will be possible.
I believe Steven confirmed that as well.
Yeah. So here's what I know about in-game marriages. One, they can be fun. I actually took part in 3. They were fun. There was drinking. And I also was one of those guys who likes to crash in-game weddings. So when you guys see or hear in-game marriages, like what are the first couple thoughts that come to mind when it comes to in-game aspects, like buffs or benefits or I don't know, quests? DA, what do you think about in-game marriages?
I think they're an awesome idea. ever since I remember playing older MMOs and thinking like that'd be cool, a cool addition to have. And now it's kind of like standard among the industry. I'm pretty sure most MMOs have a some type of marriage system. But yeah, I think it's a cool addition for people to not only get involved with their friends and their community, but invite people to see their marriage and just consummate some vows in game. One thing though, I know some games like to offer different packages for different wedding styles and different sizes of the wedding events, and that's something that would be interesting to see if they come up with like maybe there'll be a special zone to that can hold, or a chapel that can hold 500 people in it or something like that, and that can add it onto the store. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the wedding system plays out.
All right. What sort of benefits, when we're talking benefits, I mean like bonuses, what do you guys think should be available to people that decided to get married? Braun Games, what do you think?
I was thinking something like along the lines of like sharing storage or sharing your taxes with that other person, like similarly to how it is in real life. It would kind of make sense. Or maybe to have like a certain profession buff or something like that when near your partner.
Okay.
Something major.
I think I'd like to see something like a maybe a dual riding mount that you and your partner could ride together. Something that, like, I don't know, something fancy that you get for you and your partner, or if not, maybe an item that lets you once a day lets you teleport to wherever your significant other is in game. That would be something.
I can see that. I mean, in-game marriages, I think, at least from the way I understand it, has a lot to do with roleplay, and I
Yeah.
get that, and I don't mind that. But if you have something that's in a game, you actually do, I think, want it to have also an appeal to people that don't really roleplay. So I think, like, for example, if you play with somebody a lot, and you're like, you know what, let's get in-game marriage so we can, I don't know, get a tax reduction or something, or get that teleporter that DA just mentioned. I think that would actually work out pretty well, unless but it shouldn't be too overpowered, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. You shouldn't like be forced into marrying someone just for the extra buffs.
Yeah, and also because Nerf just brought it up in chat, how would in-game divorces work? Let's say you get married and all of a sudden you get a shit ton of loot, you make a lot of gold. How are divorces gonna get settled?
I think it'll be probably something similar towards just, if you and your partner are no longer together or you guys don't want to be married, you can, I don't know, necessarily just basically disband the wedding, or I mean disband the marriage that you guys have together. But I don't think it'll be anything too intricate as far as like what is it called, like splitting assets and things like that.
Okay.
I don't
think,
I don't know.
Maybe that should be up to like the two individuals wanting to break up or whatever, because I don't think that we should like put in a system that is too punishing for the one getting divorced or the one divorcing someone.
Right.
I mean,
And I mean, what assets would you be sharing with your significant other that would need to be divvied up? Like, not like you have like houses.
crafting
Yeah,
materials.
but if maybe if you have them in a shared storage, it would say okay. So you can have it say like the system say, before you start your divorce proceedings, make sure you empty your shared storage and remove all blah 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 items.
Yeah, gotcha.
That way they don't have to Intrepid or the game doesn't have to be the police of who gets what items. You leave that up solely up to the player.
Let me bring this up. Do you think people would be happy if in-game marriages would just be cosmetic? if it maybe gives you a title, maybe, I don't know, a mount, but it wouldn't have any like real buffs or anything.
Yeah, I don't think people would be too upset. Like, it's not really expected for a in-game marriage to be more than role-playing, I think.
All right. Okay, let's leave it at that because I'm really interested because I really want to know what Intrepid's gonna do with it. And let's jump to the next topic, which has something to do with. It's a little bit similar. It's the pirate life. Yar. All right. By pirate life, I mean those types of players that like ganking, that like to grieve people, that like to be the outlaw on the server. A lot of games, they have their own approach when it comes to being a pirate. And now I want to know what your opinion is on it. Because we know, for example, that Ashes of Creation will have an in-depth karma system which won't allow people to gank non-stop or grieve people non-stop, because the term Steven always uses is meaningful conflict. So when you hear pirate life, most of us, we can already know, like, we know what we're talking about and we know what this topic is about. But how do you see pirate life, or how could it work in Ashes of Creation? DA, what do you think?
Well, I could see it maybe one of two ways. Either one, whenever you're out at seas, and they could set it up to where if you're out at seas and you and your guild are on your ship, and it's an open world PvP, so they can have it to where it's the seas is always a flagged PvP zone, so no corruption happens within that zone. Or they could just have it like a system to where, like you said, you become pirates. You become corrupted from raiding a ship or something like that, and that's just a chance you have to take when deciding to, like you say, live the pirate life.
All right. Braun Games, what do you think?
I mean, I think you could do like something where the ships have like similarly to the caravans, have like this proximity area around it where PvP is allowed, and maybe just make it a bit larger for other ships to kind of just sail in and attack if that's what they want.
All right.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. I like that.
I like that a lot. Okay, so but let me ask you this: should pirates, the Scourge of the Sea, be able to walk into any other node or be part of a node? I mean, if you choose to be a pirate, you choose to be a pain in the ass for most people on the server. Let's be honest about that. So most pirates, let's see, for example, Arcade the whole pirate base thing, and I think in Black Desert Online, even there, you have a place where you can go with minus karma and you don't get attacked. So do you think that if you choose to be a pirate, that you should have your own game mechanics when it comes to like node systems and stuff like that? DA, what do you think?
Man, okay, so there is maybe two ways I would like to see that done. Either A, have an island that's like a pirate's island where the corruption doesn't apply there, and it's no bars hold. Or you could have it to where you just have to accept those people who are part of that society. Maybe if they come to you, be a part of your metropolis, even though they're a part of your metropolis and they do those pirate things, you might not necessarily like what they do, but you have to, for the sake of the node, you have to get along with each other and work together.
Okay.
And I mean, even then, I feel like there is some honor among thieves, and while they might be pirates, everybody's got to sell their wares. Everybody's got to do business. Everybody is out to make money. So even though they might do pirate, they might be even though that they might have let's say raided your ship, they might be somebody else's best customer, and
I got you.
that all adds to the meaningful conflict.
All right. Braun Games, do you think making or choosing to be a pirate should be like, because Stephen always says in Ashes of Creation it's gonna be a risk and reward. For the normal player, there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of reward depending on what we do. Do you think for pirates that are aiming to steal your precious booty, do you think the risk reward system should be higher? The risk will be higher, but your reward will also be higher compared to somebody who just, randomly turns on PvP to kill somebody.
I think like to some extent it also kind of depends on how they handle this entire like pirate system, whether it will be like the seas are full on PvP, or whether it's like select areas of the sea are PvP areas, because to some extent I feel like pirates should have higher risk and higher reward for like going out of their way to make a profession of stealing from others, basically. I think what you could do, like in terms of the cities and such, you could make like outlaw nodes, I think I would call it.
Okay.
Like on islands and such, in the sea, where you could meet each other and where you could sell your goods, but you wouldn't gain karma, but the area itself would also be PvP, so you could get attacked inside of a city, basically.
All right.
Kind of adding to the whole risk thing. So you might be on your way to like sell your goods or something like that, and suddenly you get ambushed from behind and everything is stolen from you.
All right. I can see that. To answer a question from the chat, Norov, no, this topic has nothing to do with Sea of Thieves. I wanted to talk about this topic for a while now. Okay, so with the whole pirate life thing, do you think, because Steven always says the game is not meant to be a murder box or a gank box or whatever you want to call it, do you think within Ashes of Creation there's going to be a group of people that's still trying to play the game in that way to make it a grief or murder box? Dave, what do you think?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I think that there will be groups of players who solely just log on to make somebody's day a living hell. But I feel like with bounties that you're going to be able to place on their head, that's just going to add for more fun for us. I'm a PvPer at heart, so I welcome the challenge. I love good fights. I love fighting. I love fighting other players because they're not predictable. They don't do the same mechanics. Everybody's got a different playing style. And then when you're getting jumped by a couple of them and you actually beat both of them, like that's such a rewarding feeling that you don't necessarily get from just killing the same NPC over and over again.
All right.
But I'm almost sure there will be groups of players who are just motivated to, fighting with as much corruption
as possible. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? All right. Any of you two got anything to add? Unless not, we're gonna jump to the next topic.
All right.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So with those pirates being out at sea, they always have to fish and stuff. So the next topic is going to be wildlife. And when I say wildlife, I don't mean like like Winnie the Pooh, a bear that everybody loves and loves to eat honey. I'm talking about more like what sort of wildlife would you like to see when it comes to hunting mechanics? And we know hunting is going to be in the game. And in any other MMO that I played, the hunting wasn't really, it didn't feel like, hey, yeah, I'm out there hunting something big and scary. It was like, oh yeah, ping, ping, pew, pew, shoot, shoot. It's dead, and I gotta skin it, gonna bring it back, yay, done. So, because there's a lot of hype right now around these Monster Hunter games, my question to you is now, what sort of wildlife would you like to see? And when it comes to hunting, what sort of game mechanics would you like to have in the game? Braun Games, you go first.
So I think difficulty is quite important in that sense. Like when you hunt a certain animal of some sort, it's pretty important that if it's of higher difficulty to hunt, you should get a better reward for it. And I also think that they could maybe like make certain weapons that involve maybe some sort of like mini games in order to capture whatever beast it is that you're hunting. Similarly to how Black Desert does it with taming. Like you need a rope and you need some sugar to go out and capture this beast. In this sense, it might be like a knife instead, or a trap you would place down and wait for like the beast to go over, or something like that.
All right.
Yeah. Ashes of Creation Monster Hunter Edition. Man, that I mean, hunting sounds awesome. I think they have a chance to make it really immersive with the type of model that this game has, and the way they could work. The way they could work hunting is definitely going to be interesting. I agree what you said about difficulty. I hope that there's actually a challenging difficulty towards hunting, and it's not something that you can just run in and beat the biggest baddest monster with 5 minutes of your time. I want a scaled challenge.
Well, what I would like to see is you need to really prepare to go hunting. You really need to like track something down. But making that sort of system, like it's just like making like Monster Hunter happen in Ashes seems a little bit hard because of the size of the world and that many people online at the same time in the same area. So how hard should it be, or what do you think, how hard should the difficulty be to actually kill something? Let's say you're hunting, I don't know, let's say a unicorn, a special type of unicorn, whatever. How long, what should be the process to actually kill it? Yeah, what do you think?
It'd be interesting to see if they have so maybe put the monsters on some type of spawn timer, so it's not something that's just always up, and it has a little bit of what do you call it? Like it's more sought after. People want to have a reason to actually camp it, and then with that you like you said, some type of tracking system. Maybe you find its footprints or track it, and then maybe you go around the map, not have it in the same spawn place every time, and just add hunting elements to it. Once you find it and track it, maybe you have to some hunting missions you have to capture it and bring it back, and then some hunting missions you have to just kill it and bring back certain parts for it. Or you could even have something to where a system to where when you're trying to bring, say, the captured animal back, if you don't have the right resources, it's harder, and sometimes it could break away from your trap, and then you have to go after it again. But there's so many things you could do.
Yeah, right. There's like so many things to go. Now, dear Proxy, one of the community moderators, just brought up a good point. Ashes also has PvP. So if you decide to go out hunting, there's always this nick in the back of your head, be like, hey, I could get jumped any moment now. I'm tracking this freaking special creature. I am close to getting it, and I could get jumped any second now.
Yeah.
I think that would make for an awesome experience if the hunting is just, like maybe, you track down a special creature, you fight it in a certain way, maybe some sleep darts, and then it runs off again somewhere else. You have to track it down again. I think that would work really well. I think a lot of people would enjoy it, and the harder the better, I say.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. You could maybe also make certain feed for certain types of creatures when you need to place it down in a trap or something like that.
I mean,
if you want to lure it in.
I mean, you could even scale it up to where you need full, I don't know, maybe full parties or raid parties, to actually track one down and slow one down and kill it. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that they actually could turn into reality. Post tracking ability tied to. Well, I'm reading chat right now.
No T-Rexes.
Well, so this tracking ability we're talking about, I think they could combine it with a gathering profession, or they could make it maybe something extra outside the crafting, gathering, and profession trees.
Yeah, I think hunting would like be a gathering profession, and maybe like skinning would be more so like processing.
Yeah, skinning
Uh,
would be processing.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah, or like leather working. I think you would call it like turning
leatherworking.
skin into leather.
All right, let's jump to the next topic. Bum-ba-da, da-da-da-da. Community events. So in the past, we had some community events. We had the guild fair. We had the what else do we have? We had the Ashes challenge. So what I want to know now is if you guys could think of any like community event you would like to have in the past, you would like to have in the future. What would it be, and what's your opinion on the past community events? Yeah, what do you think?
I being a little biased here, I like the past the Halloween event because I got a chance to play Alpha Zero. But yeah, so I mean, I don't knock them. Hey, bring on more community events. I don't necessarily have anything in mind as far as what I would want to see in a community event, but I leave that up to the or soon to be community manager and the community moderators.
All right. So nothing special in the future, like a karaoke event or something you would like to see?
Oh, those were good times.
I'm trying to give the mods some ideas. So just between us.
We have karaoke and voice chat. So I mean, like I said earlier, stop by voice chat and say something, say hi, talk. We don't bite, and we definitely do have some fun times in there.
All right, Brown Games. What did you think as as being in a relationship with a moderator? What was your opinion on the guild fair?
I don't really know much about it other than it was like quite a large clusterfuck as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
I feel like for most community events that were like as big as the guild fair, I feel like Intrepid should be the one hosting them. Because from what I heard, it was most of all like a few individuals hosting the entire thing and ending up like making some creating some issues that were not necessarily supposed to be there.
Yeah, I can actually confirm that because I was the one doing the EU one.
Yeah. So I feel like it's something that should at least be like controlled by either Intrepid or the moderators.
Well, it was controlled by the former community manager and approved.
So Yavi.
Yeah, she approved it, and Steven signed up on it. So I think it was a good idea. Sadly, I think personally it was way too early for Guild Fair because at least for on the EU side, and I think same goes for Australia and North America, half of the guilds that took part in the Guild Fair, they are gone or got dissolved or got like eaten up by bigger guilds. So, but I think within a year, like within even this year or next year, I would like to see another Guild Fair. The closer we get to the release, the more people are gonna start looking for guilds or gonna start their own guilds. So,
yeah, I think it would like be a good idea to implement it around the same time as the guild system is actually implemented into the game.
Alright.
Because I think I don't personally I don't really look for guilds at this point in games usually because I know I'm gonna change my mind eventually. So I think it was like way too early for a guild fair. I think everything like has its place and time, and that maybe the guild fair could have waited a bit, but that's just my personal opinion.
Okay. So, are there any events in the future you guys like to see? DA?
Backtracking to the Guild Fair thing, I do think I agree. I think it was a little too early. I don't think we should have anything like a Guild Fair until at least like a beta or something like Um, but any future events, I'm just looking forward to more leaks from the live stream. That's really what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing like how these classes are going to work a little bit more in depth.
All
I'd
right.
like to see the nodes 3 and 4 video. That would be nice. Just some more speculation topic. You know, they don't have to necessarily release an entire system of what they're putting in their game, or they don't have to leak, I don't know, the first raid or anything, but just more speculation topic.
Okay, more speculation. So, what about an event where we as a community get together to just theory craft, but have it moderated? Like a certain word that starts with an S and ends with an T, which I will not mention on this stream. Have something like this on a regular basis, where we get together and just, in a friendly environment talk about certain topics. I think that would work well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that you would have to pick out a certain topic to be discussed at a certain time and like kind of have it scheduled so that people could join in and say, hey, I think this about this topic, so that it's not like just a lot of people throwing in their opinions about various different things.
Oh yeah,
Like
it should.
keep it within the spectrum.
Yeah, it should
Yes.
definitely be moderated, but I guess Intrepid would have to try to organize this themselves so it actually comes across as something that is to be taken serious.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Guildford thing, yeah, I agree. But what I would like to see is, and this has been mentioned in chat right now, a couple months ago, we had this funny thing on the Discord where a bunch of us got together and we actually started to sing karaoke. I thought this was pretty fun, and I would love to do that again. So if anybody wants to organize the official Ashes of Creation karaoke night, please let me know. I will bring my green tea and my microphone, and we should be good to go. All right. Anybody got anything else to add to that topic? Any ideas for any future community events? Anything?
Maybe like more Discord Q&As with Steven.
More Discord
It's
Q&As.
always fun, except when certain people tell Steven that they love him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not so fun.
I mean, anything at this point, at least in my opinion, the community is not as manageable as like a year ago, where we were still like really small. Okay, we weren't small, but still like we grew so much over the time of the Kickstarter and this past year. So anything that includes anybody from Intrepid needs to be moderated and done in a certain way. So yeah, but I would love to see some more Steven Q&As. All right, let's jump to the next topic. In node housing. We talked a lot about freeholds and how freeholds work, and I was like, you know what? Let's go on the other side of the wall. Let's go inside the node and let's talk about in node housing. How do you guys think, depending on the level of the node, the in node housing should work?
What do you mean? Like,
I mean, for example, if you look at Black Desert Online, all the cities have set apartments, different sizes. They cost different amounts of money. So when we're talking about a node where the development and everything else is set to the leader who decides what gets built, how should that work? How should the taxing work?
Hey, go ahead, Ray.
I feel like, well, the houses should definitely be like a cheaper version of the freeholds, in my opinion. And they should also be smaller. Of course, we know that they're going to give like citizen privileges, but I feel like you could kind of up those privileges depending on how costly your house is.
Okay.
Maybe like cut off a certain percentage of the tax depending on where you live inside the node or how big of a house you live in.
So, are you talking about like having like ghettos and like Beverly Hills sort of?
Maybe.
I think I would like that. Like, can you imagine you go into a node, and on the one side of the node everything is pretty, and the other one on the other side everything looks like it just got thrown out of a toilet?
Oh
You
yeah,
kind of have
like
a slum area and
Yeah,
then
like
a
summer.
like prestige kingdom on the other side of the road.
yeah, you have it to where like they said, the houses that you bought in the towns would level up to mansions once they reach like the city and metropolis level. So I'm sure the mansions will be on a nicer, lavish part of town, and then you could have the regular in node housing just be, it doesn't necessarily have to be like slums, but you could have them, not as nice. So there does
Yeah.
look like there's a different system. There's like a class system, and excuse me, as far as taxing based on your housing, that would be interesting to see. Like maybe if you have a mansion, you pay more taxes than somebody who just owns a home.
I
Yeah.
mean, Combigus just said he thinks that in-node housing would be more expensive than freeholds. What do you guys think about that?
I s-
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would think that it kind of depends on how much you've kind of worked on your house, because I would imagine like a freehold with I don't know, a big stove and fields of corn and maybe a stable would be a lot more like expensive to like uh, keep nice and keep neat than a node house, which is basically kind of limited in terms of how much space you have. But like,
I mean,
don't
yeah, go ahead.
both freehold owners and in-node house owners do pay taxes, don't they?
I want to say yes, yes, yes. I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I want to say
I don't
yes.
want to say Jeff.
I want to say yes, but I cannot confirm that 100%. But I would, if you think about it, and let's take a step into the real world. Oh God, he said the bad word. He said real world. I mean, living on the country outside of big cities is always less expensive than living in the city. What I
Right.
can see is, first off, if you live inside the node, you are safer than you're living outside.
Yes.
Maybe there are some in node mechanics, like I don't know, postal service, I don't know, whatever. You can, I don't know, magical, I don't know, water supplies, I don't know, magical electricity, I don't know, whatever, and that you don't have outside the node. So I can see, depending on how the system is set up, that in-game living or apartments could be more expensive, depending on, like you said, if it's in the ghetto or the slums, or depending on how that whole housing situation works.
Yeah.
I hope I don't think apartments should be more expensive just because like it's just a small space that you're renting to be a citizen of a node. You shouldn't be heavily taxed or because you're you don't necessarily maybe want a excuse me, you might not necessarily want a home within that node. Maybe you have your freehold somewhere else and you just want to be a part of that node, so you buy an apartment, which is like completely understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do hope that I hope freeholds have their own prices separate to in-node housing as far as mansions and smaller houses go, just because like freeholds are something that you're going to also be using for I'm assuming crafting and gathering and different things that you might have going on within the world of Ashes. So I don't think it would be fair to put freeholds within the same system, because even if you don't buy a home within a node per se, your freehold, somebody might just want to have their freehold as their home. They might not necessarily, like you say, want to live in the city.
I mean, Combigus is asking if we don't think there will be gardens and crafting in node houses. I mean, I can see crafting within node apartments and node housing. I can see that.
I agree.
Depending on, because like I said, the leader of the node decides what buildings get built. So maybe he decides, okay, I'm gonna build an apartment complex with 15 slots, and each of these apartment slots has an in-node garden and a big crafting area whatsoever. Or another node leader decides, you know what, I gotta build a big ass freaking skyscraper with 100 apartments, and they're not gonna have shit in there. I think it's a possibility, but I think if you're going for the more crafting related stuff, I think freeholds would be the best way to go. Because I don't think when it comes to crafting, especially, I don't think in node housing is gonna be able to keep up with freeholds.
Yeah, I also think that it might be a possibility, but not like to the same extent as a freehold will. Because then there would be basically no reason to buy a freehold if you were able to like do the exact same thing and have citizenship of any node
Right.
at the same time. So it would basically just be like for cosmetic purposes that you would buy a freehold, like to show off in the world.
I mean, what I can confirm when it comes to freeholds, and I can confirm this because I did my research and I checked all the information we have, is when it comes, for example, to sieges, we know that as soon as your node loses a siege, the attacking party, the attacking army, can go around for a certain amount of time and loot freeholds and raid them. That is confirmed. That is confirmed. I did not find anything regarding in-game housing. So there might be a mechanic and a reason to that. Maybe if you live in node, even if you lose the siege, your apartment, your housing within the node cannot be raided. You maybe just lose it if the node gets deleveled.
Yeah, your housing could get de-leveled to the previous stage, but that's an interesting point because you're right. I'd never heard them say anything about in-node housing being affected, like freeholds would be. But maybe that's just another reason to have a freehold because it adds like you're gonna have guards and stuff protecting your freehold. So I don't know, man. There's so many ways that they could go about it.
Yeah, so I guess we just have to say they only get resources from the house Mr. Research. Alright, thanks you, Mr. Proxy. I just going based on what I found on the wikis. Don't blame me, they said it could be rated. Thanks for making me feel bad. Alright, so anyways, yeah, but still, if they can get resources from the freeholds and cannot get resources from the in-game housing, it would make sense maybe for newer players to stay in-game in node and level up their stuff in there before they go out and try to get a freehold, right?
Right.
Right. Okay, let's jump to the next topic, which I have no clue about because I never done it. Taming and breeding. So taming and breeding are a thing in Ashes. Who wants to go first? How do you guys think taming and breeding should work within Ashes? Or what would you like to see? Let's put it this way. What would you like to see when it comes to taming and breeding within Ashes of Creation? Brawn Games, why don't you go first?
So again, kind of like BDO did it, where there's this mini game or there's this process that you have to go through in order to tame or breed a certain animal. I would also like to see variety in looks, but we all already know that will be a thing because Steven has shown us different variations of a head from a breeded lion, butterfly, bear thing.
I think I know
what
you're talking about. All right.
And something that I would also like to see is kind of people specializing in breeding and taming, so that you would be able to hire a person to go out and breed or tame a certain animal for you if they know how to do it. Kind of in correlation to the job and hires that you can look for in cities.
Okay.
yeah, and that was basically it.
Okay.
Man, the whole taming and breeding thing for me, like, I really don't. It's not one of the things that I'll probably be too much into. It's never really been I could say passion of mine. So I don't know.
I know. I mean, I get the appeal of taming, and I think if you, for example, have to tame certain siege animals, I think I could get behind it or tame them. That would be cool. But I mean, if you, for example, like what I would like to see is the tame mechanic be like really in depth, same as for the breeding, and it would take a while for something to actually grow up in the breeding process. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys want the breeding to be fast, or you want the breeding to be rather slow?
I mean, I think that there should be like a curve, like so many other professions. It should feel rewarding to like have your pet grow up and
Mhm.
become something bigger, and that's why I also think that, which is also confirmed, that mounts and pets should have abilities, so that you can sell these pets and animals and such for like for purpose. Like they're not just there to look good. They're not just there to like look appealing. They also have certain like mechanics and things that you can use them for.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I want to say when we talk about intricacy in all these different systems and mechanics that we hope Ashes comes out with, I do want to say that I really hope they put effort where effort needs to be put and let certain things just kind of work as a simple system, because I don't want them to lack working on maybe like, can I say, like, as I would say, like bigger events. I don't want them to lack on more important tasks or bigger events, because they're too busy trying to get this like perfect, intricate system of like whatever it may be, of the smaller things.
No, I gotcha. I mean, I would still like to see, like with any other system within the game, I would like to see it to be in depth. Because I remember, for example, breeding and taming in, for example, Ark Survival Evolved, right? You tame the way taming works in Ark is you knock something out and then you feed it while it's down. I mean, in real life, that's not how taming works. I would like there to be like a way where you have a freehold, and there's I don't know, a cage or something, and whatever you tame, you have to get in that cage, and then the taming process starts, where you have to do, I don't know, call it dailies. Like I don't mind dailies in that regard, till the animal is tamed. And when it comes to yeah, and when it comes to breeding, I would love to see something even with a mobile game where you actually have to take care of the freaking egg or whatever you're breeding every minute of every day. Like the what's it called, the Tamagotchis back in the days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like something like that where you actually have to take care of it every freaking minute, because we know Steven is thinking about doing mobile things. So what if you decide I want to breed something, and you actually have to use your mobile app to actually take care of it while you're at work? Like, how cool would that be?
um
I don't think like every minute should be a thing, but I think like maybe once every 2 hours you should have to check up on your egg or your youngling or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, so that you kind of feel responsible for this creature in
Yeah.
some sense.
I mean, Steven always says he wants the game to be immersive. And how more immersive can something be than if you, for a week now, you're like, oh, god damn it, this stupid freaking dragon egg, when is it gonna hatch? God damn it. And then it hatches, and then you actually have to feed it every couple hours. I would
I
I would love that.
I think that would be a cool system to add, but at the same time, like, I don't want it to become a chore. I don't want to have to like, if I'm out with friends or at the movies, I don't want to like lose something because I'm not looking at this app or the game 24/7.
I mean, you don't have to look at 24/7. I mean, you could maybe hire an NPC or something to feed the thing for you. But
Yeah.
I also
Well,
don't want because Combigus also brought up at one point, because all the things we're gonna tame, apparently, as far as we know, they're gonna have an eternal lifespan. At some point, the server's gonna be saturated with tamed stuff. So why not make taming and breeding something hard?
Yeah.
It-
Like, I think, as I've said before, it should have like a learning curve. Like, it should get harder as you
Yeah.
progress.
yeah.
But I mean, I would be so sad if I like just spent like so many hours like trying to make this goddamn dragon grow up, and then it would just die. I think I would cry. Like,
I mean,
literally.
but wouldn't that be awesome? Can you imagine? And then you actually you feel something. This sounds really cheesy. I'm really sorry for this. But for example, if you look at games like World of Warcraft, there are so many freaking mounts in that game. I think right now I have over 520 mounts in that game, and I barely ride any of them. I ride like one or two that I think look cool. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you breed something, if you really put the amount and effort into breeding something, and then it actually grows up and you get to ride it, I think the reward in that regard, the feeling you get, would be way better than just, yay, I got a mount. Yay.
Yeah, but you would also like get so attached to that poor little animal.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I don't know. I never tamed anything in Ark. I always just build stuff, and I never did it in Black Desert Online, so I can't really talk about it. But if they put a system like that in the game, I hope it's gonna be in depth like everything else, and I hope it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, look at me, I breeded my 3-headed golden lion today within 20 minutes. Look at it, it's shiny. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah, it would be nice to have some type of system to where a reward for your effort within it with taming and breeding. And I hope it's not something that's like quick and fast and happens overnight. And yeah, it'd be nice to micromanage it from an app, but like I said, just maybe minor micro management and not something that's necessarily that you have to check up there.
Something just came to mind. You know how Steven said that if you decide you're gonna be a major and like master blacksmith, that people on the server will know you? Remember that? He said during one of the live streams. Remember that? When you specialize, when you decide to specialize in one of the crafting skills or the processing skills, that that people are gonna be like, oh yeah, in that one node there's this one blacksmith, he can do this and that because he's specialized in that. Remember that? All right. So why not have the same thing when it comes to breeding and taming? I mean, that way you're not gonna have like a master breeder or tamer in every node.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I think the ability system could go into. Like, you could teach your animal certain abilities, and like the better you get, the more abilities you can add to your mount or to your pet.
Yeah.
So eventually you will be like the best breeder in the entire game, and your pet will be able to have like, I don't know, 5 different abilities that it can use that can help you.
Yeah, like for me, it's all about the more in-depth a system is, the harder a system is to understand, the harder a system is to master. I'm for it because I know that I'm not gonna master every freaking crafting skill in Ashes. Like, come on, I got a real life, Jesus. Okay, so anyways, do you guys have anything to add to that topic?
Not really.
All right,
I
good.
think.
Then that's actually it for today. If anybody has any questions from the chat, either on YouTube, Twitch, or Mixer, you can post them now. In the meanwhile, DA or Braun Games, if you guys want to plug yourself, your guilds, whatever you want to plug, go ahead. I know, DA, you have a guild, you have a Twitch stream, you go ahead, you show us how it's done.
I'm DA. You can catch me in the Discord or the voice chat. I'm always willing to talk Ashes. You guys already know me. I run Envious Guild. You can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/DraxArmada. I'm always streaming PUBG, Final Fantasy 14, and a multitude of other games. So yeah, you don't know me, Shadow Bob. Well, you should get to know me.
All right, Braun Games. What about you?
I am Brain Games. You can find me looking at memes on Discord. That's it.
That's it. All right. Let's see. Do we have any questions? I'm going through chat right now. Okay, chat doesn't have any, but I have some from the forums that people requested we answer. The question goes: do you think that gliding within the game is gonna make the world feel smaller, like in Arcade? Who wants to take that one?
I think to some extent, yes. But that's always what like flying and gliding does to a game. Like suddenly you're one place and the next second you're another place. It's I don't know. It's just what it kind of does to a game.
I mean, I think it'll add a little bit faster mode of travel. That's why it's just walking. But from what I can see, this game is this game is already going to be expensive, and with so much that they want to add in, it sounds like we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. So, I mean, it might not be that bad of a system.
All right. Well, for me personally, I was never a big fan of flying. And I think in Ashes, I will actually hate it. Because my argument to that regard is the world is always changing. Change is a big aspect of this game. And the second you start flying or gliding, the world becomes smaller. And you might miss something that changed because you were going too fast from A to B. So I will try to avoid gliding and flying as much as possible. But yeah, I think it would make the world smaller.
Yeah, I don't hope it becomes like necessary for you to fly or glide, because I generally like riding around the world more than I do flying.
Same here, I agree on that one. Okay, so there are no questions from chat because, I don't know. I think we answered everything. I think we have answered every question that possible is. Alright, thanks Brain Games and EA for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Happy to be here.
And thanks everybody for watching. We should be back in 2 weeks if everything goes well. And stay safe, everybody, and I will see you on the Discord. Bye.
Later, guys.
Bye.